Women be out here creating super niggas in their mind. They don't even be looking at the niggas right in front of them. That's the difference between men and women. We see who here.
Right.
Women down here think it's a unicorn nigga with some home dick and a lot of money and a weekend house, and this nigga write poetry and draw, and he a thug and he can fight and lift weights and don't eat pork. You crazy?
I respect all my exes. I think they were amazing. I've dated very good men. I respect them. They were kings, right? But the reason a lot of women leave a relationship is because they didn't have other things that keep them excited.
Yo, 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 it's your favorite celestial being in the flesh. My name is Earth Wind. This here is Be Greater Podcast, where I get the unmitigated rain to give my uneducated opinion, right? Disclaimer, all advice ain't good advice, right? Now, with that out the way, can I get a like and subscribe? Hope the young King Carlos Miller got y'all smiling. I'm trying to drop some breadcrumbs, right? Be Greater Podcast, the whole purpose of this channel is to inspire people to be greater, even in troubling times. Throw a couple of jokes at it. You know what I'm saying? Different perspective, right? Today I'm talking to the fellas, right? So, men, right? The art of war in relationships, because it is a battle. It's a give and take. You got to give a little to get a little, right? That's life, right? But how much is given too much? And when you give too much, do you change who you are? The principle, the foundation, right? So we finna get into it. We finna explore some avenues. I got a couple of videos. First one up, I got a great legend. He asked me, he should have been on the Kings of Comedy over such Steve Harvey, D.L. Hughley. But hey, we not even here. Listen, we got Patrice O'Neal. Let's get a hand clap. Can we get a like off that? I got the young great king, R.I.P. Patrice O'Neal. So let me say less. Let's get into the first video. We're going to come back. You know, that heavy, right? So yeah, let's do that. First video.
We're like, I'm trying to like make it so women just like understand a little bit of like just to sympathize. It's like we're like sport fishermen. This is what I'm saying. Men like to fish. And sport fishing is different from catching fish for food. You just get it. You get it, you catch it, and you show your friends. Because you want them to know that you can catch fish. You take a couple of pictures so you can show people the fish that you have the ability to catch. And then you release it back into the water. But a lot of women in here, you have boyfriends or husbands. You were fish that jump back on the boat and just was like flapping, looking at me like, hi, I was wondering if you're going to be fishing here again next week. Like, yeah, for other fish, get off my boat. Is that how you treat all the fish? You'd be like, oh, God damn. Nope, I'm sorry, sweetie. You're the last fish I ever wanted to be with. Now you stuck. You're stuck with the last fish who was loving you and fighting hard to be on your boat. Then she got comfortable, and now she started doing this. She's like, so we've been together for like a year now. Why do you still have a boat? You'd be like, so what you trying to say? I can't catch fish no more? Why do you need to catch a fish? Because if I lose my ability to catch fish, then you're not going to find me sexy no more. So you got to smell fish on me so that you know I can catch fish so you can act right. That's like, guys, you meet your girl, she was a hoe, like had hoe, like she big old booty and this and that. You got to let her do that. Don't start trying to frump her up and get her fat and get her foul. Because that's why you like her. I don't want no woman that no other guys trying to. I don't want a woman that I can send to the store at 2 a.m. because nobody's gonna try to rape her. Like I go get some bread at 3 a.m. Hey, cut through the alley, bitch. Because
listen, man, R.I.P. to the great Patrice O'Neal, man. He could take something so deep and complex and just break it down into some jokes, and it might even go over your head. But like, let's break it down to science, right? That's why we here, Be Greater Podcast. And if you ain't hit the like and subscribe button by now, I don't even understand. Like, come on, bro, help us, you know what I'm saying? Help a brother out, right? You know what I'm saying? What Poe Man Podcast say? HBO special, help a brother out, right? Patrice O'Neal. What did he say? The fish jumped in the boat. What's fish? Fish is women. Who the fisherman? Man is the fisherman, right? What women attracted to? The fish. The fish attracted to the big boat. What the fish do? They come to the boat, jump in the boat. She like you because you got a big boat. She like you because you the man, right? However toxic her perspective of life is, the reason she like you is the reason she like you. So, for example, she from the hood, more impoverished. She might like the car crackers. She might like the shooter. She might like the dope boy. You know what I'm saying? He on top of the food chain in her perspective of hierarchy of men, right? So, with that being said, if you the shooter, she dating you, and you now say you want to go to church, she wanted you out the streets. Now you out the streets. Now you going to church. You might not have that. If she has not grown with you, that elixir that drew her to you, you no longer exhibit that. And after a while, it's going to start drying up. You know what I mean? It's going to be good. I'm just saying, not in all cases, but in life, though, right? When people get to leveling up, especially when they're in relationships, mind-wise, body-wise, physically, mentally, spiritually, if the person that you're dealing with ain't leveling up with you on that same path, it's going to be troubles, right? So, back to Patrice O'Neal, right? Women often like the dudes who they know for a fact is out here. He knocking down everything, right? Subconsciously, that excites her primal feeling like, yeah, he out here. He might be a little fast. Everybody knew the captain of the basketball team was knocking down everything. Everybody knew the captain of the football team was knocking down everything. And women still lined up for him because at the primal level, she understood he, in her perspective of the world, is at the top of the food chain, right? So if a woman like you, because you out here and you moving and shaking, and she know that she know how you really moving and coming, and she gets you, and all of a sudden my whole goal is to change you, and she does, she gets you to sit down, have kids. Now you're not in the streets. Now you're not as fun. Now you're not as exhilarating. And if she ain't took the same path and growth and journey with you, my brother, you're going to be in trouble. A lot of marriages. I ain't even going to say relation. We could talk about it on paper. A lot of marriages. If you look at the reasons for divorce, it's just say boredom, for lack of a better word. Just like, we just grew apart. You know what that means? When people say they grew apart, that means he no longer excites you like he did in the beginning. If he was out here doing whatever, cracking cards, now he chilling and cooling and trying to be on some, you know what? I like you. To some women, the damaged ones who ain't growing with you, you're going to lose that elixir that drew you to her, right? And what's the inverse, right? If 2 + 2 is 4, 4 - 2 has to equal 2. So for fellas, I ain't gonna let y'all slide. For the world, it baffles me. The men who go after the most attractive women in the party actually succeed in securing the bag. Now you got the most beautiful girl in your arm, and then you be like, why you looking at her? Why y'all niggas in my girl inbox? Cover up, wear a hoodie, wear some job. I'm like, dude, why you go out your way to get the most beautiful girl in the world, and now you don't want nobody to look at her? That shows signs of insecurity. But hey, we are here to be greater, right? And dudes, like Patrice O'Neal, we be fishing. So ladies, sometimes you just be the last fish in the boat. It's musical chairs. That's how life works. Life sometimes is just about timing, you know? And sometimes dudes just be fishing. And you're like, you know what? Shit, you might as well keep this. You ain't nothing the matter with you. So here we are, right? The late great Patrice O'Neal. Man, R.I.P. my G. To me, you're a king of comedy. One of the greatest. If y'all don't know Patrice O'Neal, y'all need to over-educate yourselves and go down that YouTube path and understand, right? So what's up with the next video? Next video, real short and sweet. But hey, I am dropping breadcrumbs. You underdid? You underdid. So let's get into the next video.
I have a question. So a guy, he was showing interest the whole night. And he bought me a drink. I was like, okay, cool. Never said anything. Why do guys do this? Why y'all buy a drink? Why y'all show interest and then don't say anything? Don't ask for the number. What does that mean?
2 reasons. Because he can. I mean, what's to him? And if he got it, what's $15? What's $20? Right? Second reason why he didn't try to secure the bag, he was just fishing. And he caught you, he brought you into the boat and threw you back. You ain't, you know what I mean? Like, listen, I done brought many drinks in my life. I done been out and interactions with women, you know what I'm saying? You be out in the bar, the lounges, whatever. And yeah, energy great. And I hit it with the, you be great, sugar. I might got too much on my plate. Life might be great. I don't need another fish in my boat. You dig? The late great Patrice O'Neal. So for this young lady, why he buy you a drink but didn't pursue you? In my humble opinion, he was just fishing. He see that you caught you. He looked at you, sized you up. Yeah, I'd rather go home and play 2K. and that be the reality of it. Women don't want to hear that because men be choosing too. There's a lot of women out here who ain't getting picked, but they's too cocky and arrogant to admit it, right? But that's a conversation for another day. I am trying to drop breadcrumbs. I like my videos to line up and make sense, right? So let's get to the last video of the day. It is the video that you see in the thumbnail. And again, we're talking to the brothers about the give and take in relationships and what's the end game? What's the end game, right? What's the end game? So let me say less, and let's get into the last video.
Do women change men into the men they don't want and then leave them?
You have to answer this one first.
I haven't seen that to be the case. That's an interesting point. I think.
Okay, so
I personally haven't seen that to be the case, but I think that's an interesting point.
So I'll say this, right? In my experience, it's been a little bit older. A lot of the time, women say they want something,
but they don't actually want it.
Right. Okay. So they say they want something. So they say they want a man who is a leader and he's a boss and he's a worker and he's hard graft and da-da-da. That man is not going to be around a lot because he's got work to do, because he's trying to take care of the family, the household, etc., etc. If, as a woman, you now complain at the fact that you don't see your man enough, he's going to be thinking, but hang on a minute, this is the man that you wanted, isn't it? You wanted a man to be provider for the household. Now you're talking about time.
So now we get to the part of the podcast where we start getting mature, right? Let's bring it all together, right? A lot of women don't really know the gravity of the things they request, right? So for a woman to request a dude making $100K a year, $200K a year, odds is, statistically speaking, that's a very busy man. And as a mate to a very busy man, life can get very boring. And then when you get bored, you get complacent. When you get complacent, thoughts, things go bad, right? And for a woman to hold up in them type of relationships, she got to be a very sturdy woman, self-independent and secure enough in herself, and that her vision of her life is that where she's at in life is where she want to be, right? Because a lot of people, for one, women, they ask for things they don't even know, right? So Love Dorsey says something about how women go after the top boy in the neighborhood, right? Let's take it back on the local level, right? Let's take it back to the neighborhood. Let's take it back to the high schools, right? Take it back to colleges, right? Women, a lot of times, not all women, just statistically speaking, on average, most women, they go after the popular dude, right? What T.I. say? Don't no girl want a man that no other girl wants, right? So with that train of logic, women oftentimes go after the top dude. So what Love Dorsey say? So let's say if he a D-boy, he a hooper, he a basketball player, he a rapper, the most popular dude, all the women throwing themselves at him, his sex drive probably crazy, right? So now he pick you. Do you have enough in you as a woman to conquer all of this man, to fulfill all of this man's needs, his sexual drive, right? Like his flavor, his taste. Now he got a palate, right? He got a nice palate, right? Women like to deal with the dudes who got nice palates, right? When it come to women. Not palates when it come to food, palates when it come to women. That's just what it is. This is the unspoken truth about the elixir and the connection between women and men. Most women want a dude that in her eyes, she feel like, Ain't too many women going for the librarian dude who work at the library, who go home and play H1Z1. It's just not a thing, right? In mass. It's not a thing in mass, right? So, men, women, a lot of time women, their whole goal is to change you, to mold you into their ideal of what they think they want. But then the whole time, they never really put that much thought into it because the Disney fairy tale princess syndrome is real, right? Happy wife, happy life, that BS is real. Not happy spouse, happy house. Like the delusion and the persuasion and leading in favor of women being narcissists is out there. So you get you that dude, you him, right? She gets you and everything you about. She fights to change. She fights to tame you. She fights to subdue you. She fights to bring you in and make you more tangible, right? And she wins. The crazy psychological fact is that if that woman is not healthy, once she succeeds in taking you from the streets, taking you from a dude who go out every weekend 3 times a week and having you staying in the house and playing footsies and watching Love and Hip Hop with her, she is losing the reason she fell for you to begin with. And it makes no sense, but it makes perfect sense at the same breath, right? So how we fix this? Men, you should feel like you should only date the women who really interested in you as a human and not the image, not the clout, not the money, not the, the elixir at its fundamental level between you and her needs to be a real thing. So you won't find yourself in situations where, because look at the world we live in. 80% of divorces is filed by women, right? Even if you was to say that half of them divorces was for good reasons, because the dude was just the a-hole. He's the worst type of dude, abusive in every kind of descriptive way, right? It's still more women filing for divorce than men. Twice as many, right? If half of the 80% of the reason women got divorced was the honest to God truth, and 40% is just because women just flaking out, that's still twice as many women filing for divorce as men. And you know why? And I feel like this is why. Because men, when we date, we have a tendency to accept that woman who she is day one. Women have a build-a-bear project. I have friends who've been in relationships with men long term, and we have conversations, and I'll be like, listen, he has been consistently him, and you have failed to accept it since day one. And your struggle is simply that you won't accept who he showed you that he is consistently is, and he won't be the ideal version of him that you want him to be. It don't make no sense. Uneducated opinions. I ain't got no doctrines. I ain't got no bachelors. I ain't got no psychology type field. I'm just a young brother who who grew up in these streets, and I like to overstand, right? So I made it a YouTube, right? And what it's called, Be Greater Podcast. And I am your favorite celestial being in the flesh, but you can call me Earthwind, right? And y'all already know the vibe, because until next time, war request. Be greater. What's up? I just want to say thank y'all for tuning in to Be Greater Podcast. It's your boy Earthwind. I just want to say please hit the subscribe button and salute to everybody that's rocking with me.